Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. When Lily and Devin entered and saw Audra laughing with Holden while drinking, Lily was not amused. She seemed more anxious about Nate's entire predicament as a result of the entire scene. As Lily joined her brother at a table, she expressed her concerns to Devin regarding Nate, stating that their cousin's life was being affected by this new scenario from all directions. Of course, Lily was talking about how Amy called Nate, informed him that he had a half-brother, asked him to spearhead a search for him, and worked as a mediator between the kid and his estranged mother. Since discovering Damian, Nate has simply solidified his position, which is good if everything is going well, but if Lily's suspicions turn out to be true, he might be in serious danger. YNR Nate. As everyone knows, when Damian was younger, he cut Amy loose and ran away from home, which led to an inexplicable turn of events. And the strangeness of having Holden pretend to be him did little to allay concerns about him or his background. After Lily urged Victor to look into him, it was discovered that he did not own the businesses he manages. Rather, it is owned by a reclusive man named Aristotle Dumas. This enigmatic character also has ties to the mustache, as we recently discovered via a preview. Newman's assertion that he has never seen Dumas, who doesn't even have a photo on social media, is even more perplexing. Lily requests a favor from Victor. YNR. Lily's suspicion that something shifty may be happening is understandable. She even told Devin that she thinks it might be an ambush because of how deeply Holden, Amy, and Damian are influencing Nate's life. Nate has undoubtedly grown very involved in this scenario, which makes sense if these are individuals he will truly grow to love. But because Lily's suspicions seemed like foreshadowing, it made us uneasy. One fan made a terrifying prediction regarding Nate's trip to Chicago and his girlfriend after the society scenes aired. Is Nate the target of Amy, Damian, and Holden? Was Amy's separation from Damian and her terminal sickness a front? We assume that everything is conceivable. After all, the revelation that Tracy Abbott's charming fiancé was the one who kidnapped Phyllis and Summer and used them as test subjects caught us off guard. It is impossible to completely rule out the possibility that Amy and Damian are deceiving Nate with Holden's assistance. However, we must inquire, for what purpose? Damian YNR Nate. The motivation isn't clear. They might be using Nate to attack Winters Incorporated, but because it's not his business, that doesn't make much sense. Since Nate and Victor are no longer connected, it would also be illogical for it to be a plot devised by Dumas to get revenge on the Black Knight for a previous feud. The text says, "Get the Young and Restless newsletter from Soaps. Subscribe to receive daily recaps, spoilers, exclusive interviews, and breaking news alerts delivered directly to your inbox. https://cloud.email.soaps.com/signup." Although Lily's statements seem to portend disaster for Nate, it's possible that her mistrust of Damian is just a ploy to prevent their eventual romance. When he asked her to dinner, it seemed like that was the direction things were going, and as we all know, Young and Restless writers will set up obstacles for them to get past. Is Nate in danger, in your opinion? Cast your ballot. Following their altercation with Jordan, Nikki, Victoria, and Claire assembled at the Newman Ranch. Nobody wanted to discuss the events that transpired in the prison's basement. Claire asked if they could just spend time together. Her granny concurred. According to Nikki, let's all be together, as a family. By bringing up the fact that Claire had met Summer, Kyle, and Harrison at Crimson Lights, Victoria attempted to lighten the situation. Meeting someone she had only read about before seemed odd to Claire. Claire said she admired Nikki and Victoria after seeing the Newman family's love and protectiveness. Sitting on the couch with Victoria and Nikki, Claire pondered what her life would have been like if she had been a member of the family from the beginning. Well, Nikki told Claire, "You're a part of us now, and Jordan can never take that away." The three Newman women embraced as Claire leaned closer. Claire let out a yawn. Victoria, who was likewise worn out, went to bed. After giving Claire a hug and telling her to get some good sleep, Nikki walked away. Claire dozed off on the couch. Claire pondered what her life could have been like if Jordan hadn't abducted her. It was dawn in the dream, and Claire woke just as Victor walked in. Victor informed his granddaughter that the whole family should gather at the club for brunch. Claire was perplexed. As Victor pointed out, she had done it dozens of times. Victor remembered her, sitting in her infant seat, eating a single little pancake. Victor informed his granddaughter that he would see her at breakfast but had to make a little stop at the workplace. As he left, Victor referred to her as Eve. Eve? Claire said out loud as she trailed behind Victor. Claire was in the middle of the Christmas picture of Nick, Nikki, Victor, and Victoria as she walked past the family portraits. Abby and Summer summoned Eve to their table at the athletic club when Claire arrived. They gave Eve a euphoric three-way embrace in greeting. Abby, Summer, and the three of them talked about how much fun they had on their recent trip to Cabo. Claire could hardly keep up with the revelations. Eve was regarded as the most entertaining, charming, stylish, and sensible Newman of all. Eve had gotten consecutive as in boarding school and was a model for Marchetti. Cole and Nick showed up. Cole said, "Eve, your godfather is dreaming," after Nick boasted that he was a better basketball player than him. After Abby had slept with Summer's husband, Cole said that the three ladies were inseparable, which caused Abby and Summer to thank Eve for mediating the situation. Eve was commended by Cole and Nick for her ability to command sports teams. Nick expressed gratitude to Eve for allowing him to fill in as coach while Eve was on her book tour. Summer flagged down a passing server, ready to start the party. "Excuse me, can we order some drinks?" Summer inquired. The waiter pivoted. Jordan was the one. Claire was shocked as the room grew darker and time seemed to stop around her and Jordan. Jordan smiled sardonically at Claire. Claire got up, shut her eyes, and focused. Around her, the dream shifted. Jordan was gone when Claire opened her eyes. Claire sat with a smile. Her pleasant dream went on. When Eve was around 4 or 5 years old, Cole related a story about going camping. Instead of creating s'mores, Eve had instead to chase lightning bugs. When Eve was 8 years old, during one of Dad and Nikki's weddings, Abby said, Eve ran out in front of all the unmarried women and caught the bouquet. They all chuckled. Nick reminded Eve that Victoria had explained that Eve would be the next to get married if she caught the bouquet. Recalling how Eve had failed to dispose of the bouquet quickly enough, the group laughed. Claire kept dreaming. During her wedding in Milan, Summer recalled throwing the bouquet straight toward Eve, but Eve deliberately crossed her arms. Claire said she was surprised that so many pleasant memories of her life were still cherished by her family. The naked heiress thing was brought up by Abby, who also reminded the group that Eve had brought the horse. Devin showed up. In order to sit with Abby, Summer shifted. They were all reciting their favorite Eve stories, Summer explained to Devin. Devin related how Eve once attended Dominic's birthday celebration in the park while decked out in a complete head-to-toe dinosaur outfit. Though they wouldn't go into detail, the assembled Newman family gave Eve a hint that this day would be equally as memorable as that day had been. They questioned why the champagne they had ordered had not arrived yet. Adam, the waiter, inquired, "Is there a problem?" After Eve turned him in to the police, Adam remarked that it had been the best job he could get. Abby added, "Not once, but twice." Adam's commercial career had been ruined by the harm to his reputation, even though both sets of accusations had been withdrawn. Ahem, Abby said, dismissing Adam. "What about that champagne?" Mariah and Cassie, her twin sister, came in as Adam walked away from the table. Everyone in the group was grinning, but Claire was perplexed. Cassie mentioned that she had watched Claire while Victoria and Cole were out on a date. When Sharon showed up, she took a seat between Nick and her girls. Mariah excused herself to visit Tessa, who was at home with Arya, who was feeling ill. "Have I missed anything?" inquired Sharon. "What would there be to miss?" Claire asked. Eve was informed by Sharon that Faith and Noah had given it their all. Claire inquired about the duration of Nick and Sharon's reconciliation. "Since before you were born," said Nick. As kindergarten teachers, the Newmans sung Eve's praises. Summer mentioned how pleased Harrison was to have Eve as his teacher, and Sharon voiced the hope that Eve would eventually teach Arya as well. Harrison hurried to Eve to welcome her when Kyle and Harrison arrived. Summer kissed Kyle and said, "Hi, hub." In order for Harrison to see his friend Bobby, Summer and Kyle escorted him to a different table. Nikki and Victor showed up at the club. Claire inquired as to the purpose of the family brunch, which turned out to be a party. Nikki commented on Eve's curious personality without mentioning her recent sobriety issues in real life. All of the questions Eve had asked while learning to ride were discussed by Nikki. Eve had been a championship rider, Nikki said. It was Victor who commended his granddaughter's ambition and faith. The following time they played chess together, he requested Eve to be tough with him. Victoria showed up with several balloons. "What is going on?" Claire inquired. "You don't think we forgot about your birthday, do you?" Cole inquired. The whole household yelled, "Happy birthday!" Claire was ecstatic. Cole informed Eve that the happiest day of their lives had been the day she was born. The preterm Eve who had fought to survive her first few days of life was described by the family as frightening. Claire started to choke. "I could never have asked for so much more than this. I don't want to ever wake up if this is a dream," she whispered. Cole gave Eve a preview of his most recent book. A dedication read, "To my beloved daughter Eve Newman Howard, my pride, my joy, my truest inspiration," it contained. As the family cheered, Claire thanked Cole and gave him a hug. "The champagne and sparkling cider will be here shortly," Victor said. Adam reappeared, held out his arm, and declared, "Here come your libations now." As Jordan came back pushing in 4 drip stand, the room grew darker and time seemed to stop once more. "I don't need to ask who this is for now, do I?" Jordan made fun of it. Claire had a terrified expression. Claire made another unsuccessful attempt to wish Jordan away. Claire pushed the 4 stand aside. "Jordan, damn it. I won't allow you to spoil this for me," Claire said resolutely. Claire, according to Jordan, was desperate and pathetic. Claire was adamant that this was the life she should have led.